So after 10 years of being on YouTube in multiple different niches, getting millions of views, in fact, Doug actually just hit over 1 million views on his brand new channel, and now us running a over 7-figure business while homeschooling 5 little kids from our home and being this entrepreneurial couple, we have learned so many different, I guess what people call cheat codes as to how to go viral super fast, how to stand out in an oversaturated niche, how to make a lot of money in many different niches. And today we're here to talk about probably some of our favorite cheat codes when it comes to becoming full-time YouTubers, because so many people online, they have this dream to make a ton of money, right? From social media. They see the hashtag ads, they see the sponsored posts, and they think it's got to be easy. I just have to get a lot of followers. And it's not so easy. You have to maintain those followers and really chase certain income streams that allow for monetary growth. And so that's what we're going to dive into today.
But before we get into it, if you don't know who we are, my name is Doug, and this is my wife, Haley. We run a 7-figure business, basically helping other creators to be able to grow their audiences and grow their income through digital products. So if that sounds like something that you want to be able to do, make sure you like this video if you like it, subscribe if you're new, leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and let us know what you think about our cheat codes. So this first one is extremely important for anybody that is trying to take YouTube seriously. One of the biggest strategies that everyone talks about now, which I personally think, and I'm a little bit biased, but I think Haley coined, which is our golden nugget method. It's, we basically go and look at other creators who are popping off in other niches and try to apply it to your own niche. It's very important that when you're doing this research and you're making this happen and you're creating this content, that you do not copy other creators.
You can look at and recognize what your competitors are doing well for like title, topic, thumbnail, but I do not click them because honestly, I don't know if I am overly emotional or whatever it is, but it just gets stuck in my brain. Like when I see that someone went the extra mile or the extra 10 miles on creating that piece of content and I'm looking to take this topic and spin it in my own way, right? It just gets in the back of my head how good it was or even how sloppy it was. And whatever they did that made their content go viral, I start thinking, well, I can't do that. I don't have that time or I don't have those resources. And so while this is not a cheat code, like a, flip this setting on and you'll get a ton of money and views or whatever. This is something that I think so many new creators struggle with because they compare themselves so much to where they honestly just will talk themselves out of the niche completely. But when in the first place, you shouldn't even watch your competitors' content. That's how you're going to stand out.
Yeah, I really think that this actually kind of is a flip a setting on type of situation, because by not watching your competitors' videos, right, by not actually sitting there clicking in and watching it, you are freeing yourself up to create the content that you should be creating. For me, when I think don't watch competitors' content, I say don't do that because us as humans take in information and knowledge, right? And so the more that you watch of other people's content, other creators' content, you lose your own take on things, okay?
Yeah. So
if I watch a piece of content that has a million views on it, right? It's like 80,000 subscribers, 1 million views, and I watch it, I'm like, I want to do something that's like this, but I kind of want to see what he says. Oh, that's a really good point. Maybe I'll just take that point here.
Yeah,
or I like the way that he formatted this. I'm just going to take this format here. And then everybody ends up having the same content and nothing's unique anymore. And you kind of just blend in, right? You need to be unique to yourself. And by doing so, you're going to stand out from everyone else. Yeah, your ideas are going to overlap with some people on the internet, okay? There's only so many Charlotte Mason homeschoolers, or there's only so many firearms YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like, ideas might overlap, but at least you're not picking and plucking people's specific terms or phrasing or styles and losing your own. So I think that if you don't go in and watch their content, that is almost a setting of flipping on the originality or creativity setting.
Yeah. I think now with the emergence of AI, we almost have to trick ourselves into becoming real humans. Or we are humans, but you know what I mean? Like, are we? Just kidding. Like, honestly, this background is real. This is my bookshelf. Because you can make, and that's my point though, you can literally make your background fake.
Have you seen those videos where the guy's like, there's like a guy streaming and somebody keeps asking about this fridge, what's in the fridge? He's like, you want to see the fridge? You can't handle the fridge. And it's like a cardboard cutout of a fridge.
Dude,
it's like
this
not
is
even
what
real.
I'm saying. Yeah, like, is that fig tree behind you real? It is. You wouldn't believe me though. But seriously, like, you don't know even what's real.
Yeah.
And it's going to be worse and worse for us out there, creators. The only way to stand out, I think, is to not even look at your competitors, that you're so original because you got no choice. There's no temptation for you.
Yeah.
And you have to just read an actual book.
That old guy who was putting filters on himself to look like someone else 30 years younger and a slightly different gender and making money on it in Japan. It was a guy. He was like a 50-year-old biker, but he was actually it was a female biker, like motorcycle rider, but it was like a 55-year-old dude.
You can't trust anybody.
No.
Yeah.
So you need to be original. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the first cheat code. The second cheat code is quite a bit different here. What I've learned over time by doing my own content. Okay. Learning how to be able to create my protection content, working with Haley to figure out like the best schedules that we can. We have 5 kids. We homeschool. We have to figure out what is the best time to film, what is the best time to work, what is the best time to script and edit. We've tried everything. And I've just learned personally, I think it's the cheat code to not batch your content.
Yeah. I think it really depends. Like if you have no kids, batch your content. It is like on paper wiser and better and you're more optimized. But
not even if you have kids or don't have.
Actually,
okay?
yeah.
The reason why, and I'm sorry to cut off my wife. Usually she's the one cutting me off.
No, I love it. Please cut me off.
To me, not batching means you get something done. Okay. Beginning to end, you research, you script, you film, you edit, you post. That moment of posting and getting something done, that checking off the box is such a huge dopamine rush that like you need as a beginner or even somebody who's like starting to pour on the content a little more. Maybe you made a little bit of money and you want to really turn this from a side income to a full-time income. The dopamine rush that you get of progressing and posting content is extremely important because there's this like middle ground that creators run into between videos like 8 and 35. Okay, where you don't want to do it anymore. It sucks. It's so hard. So if you batch and you try all these things, you lose the rush, you lose the feeling. You need that dopamine rush of posting that video. So I think even if you don't have kids, beginning to end, get that thing posted. Yeah, that's true.
I just reflect on before I have kids. You know, I was obviously trying to be a full-time YouTuber. I would do like 3 in a day. The next day I'd sit there in like my pajamas, like grinding out, like editing. And I would say even with that, there's a flaw there because you don't get feedback from your last video.
Yeah.
You can't improvise. So they're all 3 stale and I was stuck there just editing them being like, I know this one's not good because I just got data on the first one that I created. So, but yeah, especially if you have a large family like we do, you get really in the, you know, the mental hurdles of like, what's the magical schedule that's going to cure all your pain when reality hits and it's hard. It's hard to maintain consistency with a large family with values and priorities. And so you need that rush of dopamine.
Yeah.
Like what Doug does for his protection channel, how he's grown it so fast is he'll wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, script, film, edit,
by
post,
10.
post.
Schedule, because that's where all the homies are when they
that thinks
YouTube.
It's very superstition host, but and he feels so good. Like he's such a happy dad because you know, like you got to be happy. I mean, you have to make progress is happiness, you know. So
I agree.
By 10 o'clock, he's done everything, and he's like, dude, I'm high on life. Like I am progressing. So I think, one is better than 3 half-done videos.
I agree. And the last thing that I want to say on batching before we move to the next point, which I think is one of the coolest cheat codes in my opinion. Yeah. But I think that when you batch and you try to be ultra hyper efficient, effective, I think you psych yourself out. And you're like, I need to be so effective on this. And when something gets in the way, like, oh, my kid got sick all of a sudden. Oh, there was like someone threw up somewhere and I got 3 things I'm supposed to batch at it. It's not
stressful.
Like it's so stressful. And then those 3 things back up over time and you get so lost. But I sometimes get so caught up in something else, I lose the batching. So, you know, so there's so many reasons why I think you should go from beginning to end. This next cheat code is something that is absolutely crucial and not enough people actually do this, okay? So what you do is you look at basically your niche, you look at your industry, and you look at the stereotypes, kind of like what fits into that industry. Okay, so for me in the protection industry, we talked about this a little bit on our last podcast. It's like buff dudes, they have beards, they drive lifted Tacomas, they have night vision goggles. I don't look like a typical protection guy. But what that did for me was open the door to not directly compete with them by laying into my quote unquote weaknesses within the niche. You would think that because I don't look like those things, because I don't act like those people, that I wouldn't necessarily be able to compete or to be able to stand out or to be able to actually like fit in, right? Like it would just look like it would not work towards my advantage, but it actually does because I'm able to reach and connect with other dudes who may not exactly look like that.
I struggled with this for so many years because especially as like, I feel like I was the second wave of the OG YouTuber and I was in the motherhood niche. Okay. So I went into the motherhood niche as a new mom, broke as a joke, you know, with student loan debts in this little apartment. And when you looked out on the landscape of, well, when I did at the time of who was going viral, these women lived out in the South or something. I don't know. They had these huge like McMansion houses, beautiful white kitchens. We lived next to the beach in this Cracker Jack. It was, I don't know, 1,000 square feet. It's not, but it really was so small. And I had to go and paint every wall gray at the time. It was like so
Dolphin
popular. Gray. Yep. Doug did. And so I just felt like I was always trying to keep up. And I know that sounds kind of, I don't know, it sounds dumb right now, but we still have our students who are adults, who are mature people question like, am I worthy in this niche? You know, a lot of our students are like, I don't have a really nice house. Like, do I film B-roll or my background? Should I buy more things? Is it up level? My camera quality isn't that good.
So what that means is that as these students are sitting there wondering these things, we're trying to tell them and show them like, hey, no, that is what actually makes you different.
Yes.
Because a lot of times influencers or YouTubers, like Haley was saying, especially when she was starting, it's kind of out of touch, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of out of touch content.
And there was when it first started, actually. And now the wave of like, we're so sick of seeing perfection.
Yes.
We're like dying to see a single family home situation with
There's
income.
There's got to be some trash
like,
on the ground or something, you know?
Yeah, we want it. We want the trash can, right? This
Yes.
is bad to say this back and forth. But like one of our students, Leah Boaz, nothing to do with the trash can, okay? But she had a massive viral video with us. We'll put it on the screen here, but this is a perfect example of like, you know, this woman is a mother, right? She's a Christian, I think stay at home. She could have said, oh, I'm not worthy. There's so many you know, bigger influencers in my niche, Christian or not, and I don't have the means. But she played into what could have been misconstrued as her weaknesses. People relate to her more because of it. She's grown this massive cult following because she is someone that can speak from experience. People empathize with her more, and she's still an authority. So on our last podcast, we talk about why it's so crucial. If you want to go full-time, no matter if you have money or one of those beautiful white kitchens, you should still play up to the authority because that's what will help you sell your own products, which will make you truly free as far as income goes. You can do that even if you don't have the means to show this glamorous life. It just depends on how you spend things. And I think it's better to play into your weaknesses. They will become your strengths when it comes to personal branding.
Yeah. Being able to connect with somebody, being able to resonate with the people where they're currently at. That doesn't mean that you need to be where they're currently at, but you need to at least know and feel and be able to speak to those things as well. But the more that you can separate yourself, and this is like a blue ocean strategy thing. If you guys haven't checked out that book, you should check it out. But you're basically making yourself not a competitor to other people. So for me in my protection niche, like I'm not sitting here trying to blow a bunch of things up or shoot a bunch of things out on my ranch. I don't have a ranch and I can't blow a bunch of things up that are there. And so I have to do my content differently than everyone else. Yes. Suburban, minivan driving. I literally say in like a part of my pitch when I'm in there is that my wife's pepper spray is on my keys. I have a pink keychain. You know, that is what makes me relatable to all the other guys who don't have the giant ranges and the giant farms to be able to do all this stuff on.
Yeah. But also like even for this brand, you know, I used to be so insecure when I started to become like this YouTube coach, right? And I would help people. I knew I could help them grow their YouTube channels. Mine was going viral. And then I learned how to sell digital products to my audience, made a lot of money doing that. I knew I could help them because I was doing it. But at the same time, it's like there are other coaches that have teams of 50.
Yeah. Or we don't have like private jets.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And at the time, like, you know, 6-7 years ago during COVID, there's like, look at me on my private jet ads and I'll teach you how to make money. It's like, okay, we drive a minivan and we live in, you know, SoCal suburban lifestyle. We make a decent amount of money for sure, but we're not qualified just because we don't have like this massive sales team where Doug's like berating them or whatever and like hyping them up. And also we don't run we did at the time, but we don't run ads and do organic and have all these, you know, faces talking for our brands. And so there's like a million things that I thought I'm not worthy. I can't do this until I realized other people that are out there in the world, they literally don't want that. What they want are mentors. And this is what I desperately wanted, who had the values first, I guess, ideology when it comes to raising a Christian family and also building a business alongside much of the time for our students, homeschooling their own kids. And so I just need to reach those people. I don't need the whole pie of people that want all this crazy stuff. I want the small slice where we're all trying to just do the best for our family. and then also like work within our constraints, and yes, make a lot of money doing it, but like from the comfort of our own homes, not like outsourcing our kids to make money, which is what we were told at the time by all these fancy gurus. And so there are people that will resonate with you. Like you have to believe the world is big and not have that scarcity mindset, I think.
Yeah. Before we get into the next point, just real quick, if you like what Haley just said, because I really liked it and I felt very inspired by it, right? If you like what she said about being able to build a business, right? Be able to create content that you like, that you enjoy, but also live with a values first mindset, be able to still pour into your kids, be able to stick to your faith without having to compromise any of that while trying to be successful and make money, you should definitely still check out the masterclass that's down in the description below. We talk all about how we did it. We have helped a ton of families pour into their family, but still provide for them through YouTube. So make sure you go and check that out. Okay, so this next cheat code is going to sound absolutely counterintuitive to what everybody says out there on YouTube. And I promise it's going to make sense, okay? The title and the thumbnail don't matter as much as you think. The thing that actually matters the most is the topic of the video.
So a good example of this is we have a recent student, Our Life Homeschooling, Sherry. Okay, so she has her kids 10, and she's been doing I know I have her kids too. I have 5, so I can say it. But like she's been doing homeschool content on YouTube. She has a blog for I think definitely years, and it's not that she was struggling to get views, but she could have gotten more before working with us. She was averaging maybe 1,000 to 5,000 views on a good video. So then we started obviously teaching her our methods of really just focusing on the topic. She had a massive blowout video and multiple since then.
Yeah.
She's popping up all over my feed. And it was because she really drilled down on a topic that is, this is the key, underserved within her niche.
It's how we thrive on a single income as a family of 12.
Yes.
Okay. Now, like I said, the topic is what matters the most. So if you have a really good topic, your title and thumbnail can still kind of be like a little bit shaky, but the topic might carry a lot of that, right?
It does.
Like Sherry's thumbnail, if you were to look at it, we'll put it up on the screen. It's her with her family at the dinner table.
She's had a lot of thumbnails with this, like these similar images, and they don't, they fall flat, myself included, for lots of different, and him too. Like we all have like flat videos that don't do well. And we're like, why? It's because the topic did not hit a wide enough TAM. Total addressable market. You want the majority of people in your niche to be like, that's for me, click, not like a really small percentage. And so if you're not getting a lot of views with all of your videos, it might be all the things that are obvious, like, you know, the title's confusing or the thumbnail's boring and vanilla. But it also probably, before all of those things, is most likely the fact that it just reaches a really small portion of your audience's interest.
Yes. And so another example of this is one of our students. Her name's Tashina. Her channel is called Home with the Gardeners. And so before working with us, she actually had over 200 videos that she posted before working with us and less than 1,000 subscribers. So there was definitely something that needed to be worked on there when it comes to strategy in picking the topics. So, I mean, previously she was doing things like Christmas Eve basket, like, you know, my basket that I have, or what I got my kids for Christmas, stocking stuffers. Those were like her top performers of like 3,000 or 4,000 views, right? And so she was trying to go searchable, but it's not something that people are dying for and caring for, right? Like those types of topics are things that they're going to go to influencers for.
Yeah.
The people who have the amazing stockings and the 800 things across their like crazy like fireplace and their mantle and everything. But then she was like, okay, I need to figure out how to break out. What can I do that I think people are going to care about? And so we worked with her, and she recently, a month ago, had a video go viral that was boring homemaking habits saving us money. It's like cheating is what she says. That's on there on the end. And so the whole concept here is that it's a normal homemaking habits thing, like boring things that they do to be able to save money. It's very wide TAM, right? Saving money. And then the other thing too that she did to try to hit on this topic to be a little bit differently is that she did not come at it from like a budgeting person standpoint. Which would be
very obvious for her niche. So you don't want to do the obvious thing that's already been done in your niche 100 times. Like Sherry was doing how I homeschool. This was definitely outside of her niche. She tapped into another niche completely, like cheating.
Boring homemaking
The
habits.
way she said it is totally different to what's normally being said in her niche with the title.
As long as like the topic that you guys have is something that people actually care about, you have to check that box first. Right? Because if Tashina did something that was like, you know, boring ways to try to like stitch a sock and save money. Like, I don't think as many people would care about stitching a sock, which then lowers the addressable market, which then reduces the amount of impressions that you're going to get, which then reduces the amount of watch time that you're going to get, and your video is not going to pop off.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have this huge misconception that they need to come at it from a completely new angle, and their content itself has to be totally brand new, something that people have never seen because there's so many YouTubers and everything's oversaturated. That is absolutely not true. It's literally, you need to just wrap it with a new bow. Okay. And this is what I tell Doug. How many times can we skin a cat different ways? It's a phrase if you're not from America. A lot of ways. Okay. Like you could even, I'm not saying to do this, but you can watch your competitors' content, do something very similar and go massively more viral than them if you just wrap it in a new bow, right? It's just marketing. You have to give your audience something and make them believe that they've never seen this before. Obviously you do want to give them value and you don't want it to make it slop, right? But it's important to come at it from a completely fresh new angle. So the next one is so important. And this is what we've seen from Doug's channel, which he even feels bad. He feels like he should post way more, post more than anyone else. Now, this is so annoying that I'm saying this because I'm the one with the 5 homeschool kids and I'm the mother and the cleaner and the cooker and the baker and all these things, right? So if another mom were to tell me, Haley, work your butt off more than anyone else, I'd be like, all right, you are not living my reality and I can't really learn from you. And that's honestly the truth. We've paid so many different mentors and they're usually these bros that tell me, and they have good intentions, they want me to make my money back, right, on what I paid them to coach me. And they'll say, Haley, you just got to work like 10 times more. I don't know what, one guy was literally like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to hire a nanny. You know, I know he didn't even know I homeschool. He's like, you got to get nannies. Like, that's the only way to make it. And I'm just, you know, it's such a struggle because when I was told that years ago, I was like, maybe this is the only way to make money until I just didn't accept that because I won't do that. I want to be there raising my kids. But at the same time, it's true. Those that work harder get more of a return. And so if you could possibly understand my situation and know that it's a very sensitive topic to tell a mother to work more, but I'm still going to give this advice to you guys because it's true. And that is post more videos, even if they aren't like super high quality editing, even if they're just you sitting in front of a window with your phone, like your iPhone with no lights, just talking and nailing the title, topic, thumbnail. The more, like we say, at bats you get, the more apt you are going to be to go viral. And so, I mean, do you want to speak to that with that brand new channel?
Yeah, I'm really glad that I didn't open that because I would have just sounded like the meanest, rudest dude being like, you need to post more.
Well, we understand we have like also a female audience and we're also like, we're Christian homeschool family. Yeah. Like, I think the hustle grind culture is so overplayed when it comes to content creation stuff and like making money online. You can make multiple 6 and 7 figures. Yeah. I don't like the words living a slow, easy entrepreneur, whatever the coin phrases are. It's like live the mix easy like money, slow life, or I don't know. There's
lazy
like
life. I don't know what.
I don't know what it is, but they're like it's got to be easy. Like it's not easy because of the semantics of managing your family life and posting and getting content up on time. But also, it's true that you know.
No, you need to post more.
It's better to be unpolished and post more.
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why. Okay, the first one is that when you're building a hard skill, because these are all skills. These are not just like God-given talents. I don't have some kind of blessing to be like a pretty face on YouTube and I'm really good at this and I'm just naturally gifted at what I'm talking about. It's taken years of practice. And if I would have just posted 2 or 3 times more than I would have before, I would have already been 5, 6, or 10 times better than I am now.
Like within a month, a couple months time span.
Yes. Yeah. So if you guys are struggling to get content up, you need to post more. You need to just be more unpolished. So that's the first thing. The first thing is that it builds a hard skill. The second thing, like Haley said, is that you never know really what's going to go viral. Okay, you never know what's actually going to happen. Yes, we understand, like percentage-wise, what we think has a higher percentage chance of going viral versus what doesn't. But if you can get more content out, that's more chances that you get. 1 video a week is only 52 videos a year. Yeah. Okay, 2 videos a week already is 104 videos a year that you can get up, right? If you do 2 to 3, you're at 100 to 150 videos a year. That's way more than just the 50. And a lot of times people only do 1 or 2 videos in the first couple of months of starting their channel. So it's extremely important that you guys are able to post as much as you can. So that way you can actually start building the skills of doing this. And that way you get more chances at going viral. The third thing that I want to talk about when it comes to posting more, okay, is that your face should hypothetically show up more than other people's. Okay. Yeah. And the more often people see your face, they're like, oh, there's that annoying guy again. Oh, there's that annoying guy again. Oh, there he is again. I had some guy on my channel.
The guy with the glasses.
No, the guy said, oh, there he is now looking constipated in his thumbnails. What? And I laughed so hard. Dude, I laughed because I'm always like, Like clicking stuff.
Dude, and then like, okay. And so the last one and final one, I'm definitely going to end on personally, because this is probably my biggest hurdle when it comes to being consistent on YouTube. I've had many years where I'm extremely consistent. Probably when I had less kids, I would post 3 times a week and I, grew a huge following. And then years where I've had 5 kids in 8 years. Okay. So every other year I'm pregnant and I get very nauseous and it's so defeating because I want to be consistent. I want to be that person that shows up every week. But mixed with that and homeschooling and just like family, personal stuff, it is very hard. Okay. So you get in your head a lot. And so the last cheat code I would say is more to do with consistency. And that is abso-freaking-lutely. If you are a mother that has values, and every mother has values, that's bad. I don't mean it like that. I just mean if you have the value to be, if it's your utmost value to be a happy and present mother, which I think it's every mom, right? You want to delete this YouTube Studio app off your phone. Get that thing off your phone. It is a cancer. It is a drug. It is something that will make you instantly depressed when you're playing with your children and you decide to click it and you see that your videos are not performing or something that worked well once isn't working right now and you get less sales to your products or whatever it is. I would say that although even if you're on the rise, it can be so addicting. And so the faster you get that thing off your phone and just dedicate work hours to looking at your analytics, probably if you're a mom like me, in the dark at night when all your kids are sleeping and you can deal with your personal emotions when it comes to growing a business. It's a very emotional thing, even if you didn't have kids. So I think just allowing yourself space to treat it like a job, and that sounds creatively stifling, right? But I think it's so important for moms because that's how you're not going to quit. If you segment time to really dedicate to analyzing, well, what is wrong with my channel? Not that maybe nothing's wrong, but like what can be improved, right? Versus it can just hit you at any time during the day. You're more apt to not use YouTube and building this business as an excuse for being a poor mother or wife or a disgruntled person. And then eventually saying, oh, it's YouTube that did this, or it's me being an entrepreneur. It's building this business that did this to my family life when really you just have no boundaries. And so that is my absolute wisdom of advice that I wish I could tell myself that 10 years ago when I first started. You should only be looking at the algorithm and what's going on with your channel 9:00 at night. That's all you're going to give yourself, and you got to wait until the next day. And so that is pretty much it for our cheat codes. If you guys got value from this, let us know, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye, guys.